Welcome back, technical traders. This is the Humble Chartist, and today I'll be doing a technical breakdown on ADOBE. Ticker symbol ADBE. Before we begin, please take a second to give the video a like and subscribe for more charting and price manipulations. I deeply appreciate those who have liked and subscribed to my videos and channel. I'll first start off by analyzing the daily charts, followed by the weekly charts, and monthly if necessary. Okay, so let's take a look at ADOBE. We actually had a very good uptrend, but currently now that the correction seems to be bigger than usual, so you need to be forewarned. You can see that ADOBE had a very good uptrend. The uptrend was intact for, in fact, many years. So when the uptrend is intact, then there will be some healthy corrections along the way, followed by the last power. So usually in the sense that when there is a very strong and unusual movements, right, that's actually the best time to sell, because when there's strength, actually the particular stock is also very weak because the big players are on the verge of getting out. So you can see that in fact, ADOBE has remained above its cloud for a very long period of time, and it did shake out the last bunch of weak hands at this area before going up to test a new high. But then again, this was a very fake breakout here. You can see that there was a fake breakout here. The prices went above the previous high, creating a new high, but then it didn't sustain above it. And then there was some bearish looking candles at the very peak here. So it's an indication that it was perhaps an opportunity to sell. And ever since then, we took a hit and never really recovered. And it was been downtrending ever since, and we are still below the cloud. So when the stock is below the cloud, it's actually very weak. It's downtrending, and currently there are no signs of reversal just yet. So looking at this, let's take a look at the MACD to have a better understanding as to what is exactly happening. If you look at the MACD here, you can see that we did do a peak here, probably somewhere here, and we didn't recover until here. So here was at the bottom here. You can take a trade here, and then exit somewhere here, which is at this particular peak here. But currently, now we are at this position here, and we did actually see the blue line cutting above the orange line, but it wasn't very much sustainable, and then we put back lower. So usually on a downtrend, I wouldn't advise people to buy or add, because it's a downtrending stock. So I wouldn't expect reversals. Usually I'll just expect rebounds. So rebounds are actually opportunities to get out. And most retail investors will actually come in and FOMO in. That's actually very dangerous. And the big players will just push it up with low volume and then dump it a few days later with high volume. So if you look at the volume of this ADOBE, it's actually quite a concern, because you can see that at the very top, usually at the very top, there's not much a volume consideration, because at the very top here, they are distributing. So the volume will tend to be quite low. Only on the way down, then the volume will start to increase. Likewise here, you can see that the volume here was not very high. It was relatively low. But when it started cracking here, the volume started coming up. And at these levels here, the red volume started to appear, and then the red volume started to appear again. So usually on the very peak, the red volume sell down will be quite slow and gradual. But when the big drop comes, that's where the heavy volume will start coming in. Retail investors may be stuck inside this particular stock. So you can see that now the MACD is going down, so I don't expect much. So where exactly are my potential supports coming up? Well, if you look at the Fibonacci from the very beginning all the way to the end, let's take a look at the weekly charts for easy comparison. If you look at the Fibonacci, actually current price levels is a strong support itself. So if you look at the Fibonacci from the beginning of time, somewhere in early 2000s or 1990s, you can see that currently 434 is a very strong support. So we may expect some bounces next week, or maybe accumulation at this zone. But in the event that we break down, the next Fibonacci support will be probably about 350, which is still quite far away. Then I'm not too concerned if you were to fall to those levels. in between 350 and 430, I'm expecting many supports to come in. So let's take a clear idea on the daily charts, exactly where are these particular supports. So if we zoom in at the daily charts, let's remove these Fibonacci supports first. Zooming into this daily charts, 440 itself on the Fibonacci just now, you could see the 61.8% was a support. My next supports will actually be at about 4. You can see that currently now we are being supported by this previous support here. So the previous support is currently holding us at these levels here. You can see that these levels. The next support I'm looking at is about 420. Why 420? You can see that there was a very strong support here at 420. So buyers may come back for a while. It may be temporary or it may be a potential reversal. We wouldn't know. We need to look at the price action when the price goes to those levels. And after these 420 levels, I'm actually looking at this psychological support at 400, because at 400, many people will be putting their perhaps putting their stop losses at about 390, 380. So in the event that we break those levels within the first hour of trading and then we manage to close above 400 at the end of the day, then potentially we may see a reversal or a short-term rebound, because many people have put their stop losses there. And the worst case scenario that I'm looking for ADOBE, in the event that there's no bad news, it's around 380. Because you can see that the previous resistance here would eventually turn support in the event that we fall to those levels. But I'm not exactly sure if the earnings are coming up for this particular company. So in the event that the earnings are very bad, but in fact, you can see that there was really a downtrend before the earnings itself. So if the earnings has not been announced, and the earnings has been announced, we can easily fall to very low levels, perhaps even the 50% Fibonacci levels at about 350. So I'm not exactly following the earnings of this company. So those people who are following, you can always feel free to comment in the comment section below and let me know when exactly are the earnings. So in the event that we break these 440 levels, I'm looking at 420, followed by the $400 psychological support level, and lastly about 380 zone. This will be my support levels. Not forgetting the Fibonacci at 50% is at 350. Okay, so let's take a look at the weekly MACD to have a better understanding as to where our potential reversals. So you can look at this weekly MACD is not looking too good at all. You can see that the weekly MACD has in fact been very bullish all these years. It has went above, stayed above this horizontal line here. But currently we are below, and in fact it has never taken place before. So when we are below, we are actually it's an indication that we are very bearish. And when we are below this line, and you can see that the blue line, once the blue line has cut below the orange line and it failed to recover ever since, it did try to test here, which is at these levels here. Then it's better to exit your positions, because you know that the trend has in fact already reversed. We did see some cloud support here, but it was not sustainable. In fact, if you look closely, you can see that there was many sellers around. You can see that all these candles here are particularly very bearish with a high shadow above it. That means sellers are still present. It's not a good time to enter just yet. Only until you can see this, you can see something like that. In the event the blue line cuts above the orange line and tests a few times, then potentially we may see a reversal, and there's a time to actually enter and then add your positions into ADOBE. That being said, it's always better to watch out before entering. If the buyers are not coming back and they have not accumulated, it's not advisable to come in just yet. So to just give a recap on this ADOBE, I'm watching a 440 supports next week. In the event that we break it, we'll go to 420. And if 420 don't hold, then the psychological support will be at 400. In the event that many people put their stop losses below 380, 390, then we can expect some short-term rebound or potential reversal then. Of course, we have to take into account the earnings, because I'm not exactly following the earnings, but all the best to the earnings that is upcoming in the event that it is upcoming soon. So if there's anything else and any changes, I'll give you guys an update. Thank you for stopping by, and do check out the rest of the channel. Leave in the comment section below on your thoughts on this particular stock, or if you have any other TA requests. Also, do share this with your friends who are interested in market manipulation. Lastly, I do appreciate any feedback to improve the video content for you guys. Till we meet again, appreciate the manipulation.